Many people talk about animals and saying how they love animals, and people do not know that animal abuse is happening every second, and there's little to no punishment, or the punishment is very lenient. So my name is Alexia, and today I'm going to be talking about animal cruelty, what it is, talking about the laws here in California and what they protect, and understanding what to do in that type of situation. So I'm able to talk about this topic. Why? Because I went to dog training school and to train my own two dogs, and it taught us about the necessities a dog needs, how to train an animal, a pet, and what is considered animal abuse and what to do in this type of situation. And I often do a lot more research about this topic. Why? Because I want to become a veterinarian and I want to help animals out, and so I want to understand what is considered animal abuse and what to do, how to improve and all that. So animals, animals are living creatures just like you and me. They have emotions. They can feel pain when they're being mistreated. They they have feelings, just like you and me. So the first thing I want to be talking about is what is animal cruelty. So pretty much everybody has understanding what animal cruelty is, but in Kelly, so I want to talk about the basics, of animal cruelty. So in Kelly Dell's article of 2012, animal cruelty includes many kinds of mistreatment, from temporary failing to provide essential care to the malicious killing or repeated torturing of an animal. So pretty much that is what is considered animal abuse. So the first one is there's two main animal cruelty. There's neglection and physical abuse. The first is neglection. What is neglection? It is when an owner who has an animal fails to provide any necessities to that animal. For example, food, water, shelter, or any medical care. That is neglection. Or is when an owner restricts an animal from any movement, pretty much leaving it in an enclosed small space with no movement, or tying them to a pole or something else to little no movement. That is neglection. Next, physical abuse. I guess everybody has an understanding what physical abuse is. It's just pretty much when a person has intentional acts that causes pain, suffering, or death to an animal. It's pretty much when a person beats, suffocates, or many other gruesome things they do to a defenseless animal is considered physical abuse. So the type of animals that are pretty much prone to these abuses are pretty much dogs and cats. Why? Why do these people abuse these type of animals? Well, the main reason is because apparently in Kelly Diddle's article of 2012, a survey of veterinarian experience with abused animals and suspected abusers revealed that offenders may physically abuse younger animals aged 7 months to 2 years old who are full of energy and sometimes difficult to train. So pretty much that is one of the reasons these people abuse these animals. I guess we both understand that animal puppies, like say for example, puppies are full of energy. They don't understand our own language when starting out as a puppy because they're pretty much new. So obviously they ain't going to pay attention to you, so it's a little difficult to train them. And obviously, so these pet owners, most of the time, they just simply are ignorant to the basic needs an animal would need, and how to train an animal to be well behaved and to understand them. So obviously, these people will obviously, I guess, abuse an animal unintentionally. Sometimes maybe it was an accident, but because of the lack of knowledge as stated, they probably doing it unintentionally. But in any case, in any scenario, it shouldn't be the excuse, and that owner is pretty much abusing the animal or neglecting that animal. So now that I talked about what animal cruelty is and I have a little basic understanding of what it is, I'm going to be talking about the laws here in California that protect animals from harm and how these punishments need a little bit more improving. So, the main law here in California about animal cruelty is the Cal Penal Code 597. So, what does this Cal Penal Code talk about? What is it about? So, in E.A. Gelton article 2022, the California Penal Code talks about is when the person maliciously and intentionally maiming, mutilating, torturing, wounding, or killing an animal, or not giving an animal proper food to drink, shelter, protection from the weather, is what this penal code protects these animals from. This type of law is considered a felony or misdemeanor, and if the offender goes and buys another pet, they will be charged with a separate crime. They're not charged with the same crime, but a separate crime, and know that. Another thing that this penal code talks or protects about is abandonment. So abandonment is considered a misdemeanor in the California, and it is a violation. So it is when a person, well, pretty much when a person does it purposely, and leaves the animal in a building, street, public place, or etc., without any proper care or any attention. And another thing is that if the owner is convicted of this type of crime, of animal abuse, then the court has a decision, or has a decision to see if this person is able to live with or care for an animal. So apparently the court has a decision. It is not final statement, hey, you cannot be near an animal and that's it. Apparently they can decide if the person is eligible to actually be near an animal once again, which it shouldn't. But apparently, so when it comes to these punishments, animal cruelty penalties are pretty much lenient. Why? Majority of the time when it comes to searching these type of crimes, officers are just don't investigate this type of crime thoroughly, or they lack the evidence. And most of the time, these type of laws consider animals as properties. So if they're considered properties, then the owner has a little more control over the animal and can use the animal in their own way, which can sometimes extend to abuse. But apparently it says that animal cruelties require an owner to give the minimum to basic needs and an animal should be treated humanely, which apparently that is just what is considered not abuse. If you just give them basic needs, then that's it, which it shouldn't. So majority of the time, prosecutors are just overwhelmed in many cases and lack the evidence that is needed to resolve this type of case. And most of the time, the egregious type of crimes are prosecuted instead of the little type of crimes. Next, I will be talking about what you should do in this type of situation, what to do. So first, I feel like you should evaluate the situation. If you actually see there is animal abuse happening, then try to look at it for a couple of days, maybe 2 days, to see if it actually is abuse. And if it is abuse, try to call authorities. Try to call the local authorities or any organization. So, what to consider is that in Melissa Borgensen article, American Humane article in 2022, if a collar is too tight, it can cause injury, strangulation, or death. Starvation when there is inadequate nutrition, not only by the lack of food, but also by improper food, untreated disease, and parasites, and etc. That maybe is considered animal abuse, and maybe you should consider looking at it. So if you do see an animal in a terrible situation, as stated, call local authorities. If these authorities agree that there's a possibility of neglect or abuse, they will investigate and decide how to help the animal out, is what an American Humane article in 2022 states. So I want to say that if you do see this, try to make it public. Try to make this type of case public out in the world. Share it to social media. Try to get support from other people so they can pressure the authorities who think this case is not really that terrible. Try to pressure the authorities so they can look at the case thoroughly and more seriously. Take the case seriously and all that. And try to be persistent, I stated, and try to help out an animal in need if you do see this type of situation. So in conclusion, hopefully you understand what an animal cruelty is and what the laws here in California are and what they protect and all that. So hopefully you understand that animals are living creatures just like you and me. They should really be respected just like you and me, be treated in a kind way. So lastly, I just want to say, if you do witness any suspicion of animal cruelty, please call the authorities. Do not be scared to call the authorities. Try to save a life, because remember, animals cannot speak for themselves. They need help from us when they're in a terrible situation. So hopefully you can help and save a life. My name was Alexia. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.